Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. And today we're looking at the world of professional football.
Okay.
Specifically, we're going to be looking at Kylian Mbappé.
Right.
It does, and his move to Real Madrid and all the headlines. They're saying he's struggling, and we're also going to look at the reaction back in Paris where he came from. The sources for this deep dive are two articles, one from OneFootball and one from Daily Saba. And get this, a former PSG manager is suggesting that Paris is actually happy to see Mbappé faltering. So let's unpack all of this, shall we?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to unpack here. It's a very complex situation. And, anytime you have these kinds of sporting analysis with a little bit of pie-in-the-scenes drama, it always makes for a good story.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Mbappe's transfer to Real Madrid, that was massive news, wasn't it?
So it was huge news.
After years of speculation, he finally went this summer.
Yeah.
And on a free transfer, it was a huge deal. Everyone expected him to come in and just light La Liga on fire. He is PSG's all-time leading goal scorer. So the pressure was definitely on.
And, that kind of legacy, while it speaks to his incredible talent, it can also be a bit of a double-edged sword because it creates these enormous expectations. And, in modern football, with the emphasis on tactical systems and collective play, it's becoming more and more difficult for any single player to consistently dominate.
Right.
Even someone as gifted as Mbappé.
So he's been scoring goals. But it hasn't been that instant, takeover that everyone kind of anticipated. There's been some lackluster performances, haven't there?
Yeah, there have been some key matches where he struggled. Notably, that disappointing loss against Barcelona in El Clásico, which of course is the name given to any match between those two rival clubs. Then there was also the loss against AC Milan in the Champions League, and even in a 4-0 win against Osasuna, where his teammate Vinicius Jr. had a hat trick, meaning he scored 3 goals.
Hey.
And Mbappé wasn't the standout performer.
Part of the issue might be his positioning on the field. Some pundits are of the opinion that he's being played as a center forward, and that might not be his ideal spot. Is it common for players to be kind of put into roles that don't play to their strengths?
It happens more often than you might think. Managers, they have their systems, their formations.
Right.
And sometimes they try to fit players into roles that maybe don't fully utilize them. And in Mbappe's case, he's known for this incredible speed and dribbling ability, which are often more effective on the wing where he is spaced to you and as a center forward. He's often surrounded by defenders, which can limit his impact.
And he does not mince words. He claims that people back in Paris are actually reveling in Mbappe's struggles.
Oh, wow.
He went so far as to say, currently at PSG, they're happy that Mbappé isn't succeeding. Why would there be that kind of sentiment? Is it just sour grapes?
Well, it's certainly possible that there's an element of that. Losing a player of Mbappe's caliber would sting for any club.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember that football is a business. And PSG, they likely had their reasons for letting him go.
But wouldn't they want him to stay if he was such a valuable asset?
Perhaps they felt that, his playing style wasn't a perfect fit for their long-term vision. Or maybe his salary demands were unsustainable.
Right.
Or maybe they just believed they could reinvest the money saved from his departure into other areas of the squad. It's hard to say for sure without knowing the inner workings of the club.
So there could be tactical considerations at play here as well.
Absolutely. PSG might have believed that Mbappé was more effective in their specific system and that his strength would be less pronounced in Real Madrid's setup. They might be looking at the current situation and feeling their tactical assessment was correct.
It sounds like there's a bit of "I told you so" mixed in with those Parisian whispers. But Fernandez also suggests that Mbappé has the mental toughness and the language skills to overcome these challenges. Do you think this is just a matter of adapting to a new environment and finding his footing? Or are there deeper issues at play?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Adaptation is always a factor when a player moves to a new club, especially one with the pressure cooker environment of Real Madrid.
Right.
He has to adjust to a new league, new teammates, a new manager, a new style of play. It takes time to build chemistry and find your rhythm.
Real Madrid fans are known for their impatience. Do you think they're going to give him the time that he needs to adjust, especially with those high expectations looming over him?
That's the thing with a club like Real Madrid. Their history is built on immediate success, on assembling these Galacticos, these superstars who make an instant impact, and the fans, the media, everyone expects trophies and they expect them now to.
So do you think that pressure could be weighing on him even more heavily?
It's definitely a factor. Imagine the mental strain of having millions of eyes scrutinizing your every move, every touch the ball. And when you're not meeting those sky-high expectations, that scrutiny can feel like a crushing weight.
It must be incredibly tough to deal with, especially for someone still relatively early in their career.
Exactly. And that brings up another important point. We often forget that despite all of his incredible accomplishments, Mbappé is still a young player, right? He's still developing. He's still learning. He's still figuring things out both on and off the pitch. This whole experience, even the struggles, could ultimately be beneficial for his long-term development.
So you're saying even this period of what some might call failure could actually be a valuable learning experience?
Absolutely. Adversity can be a powerful teacher. It forces you to confront your weaknesses, to adapt, to find new ways to succeed. And we've seen Mbappé bounce back from setbacks before. Remember the criticism he faced after the 2020 Euros? He used that as fuel to improve and came back stronger. This situation could be a similar turning point in his career.
It's all about resilience, isn't it? The ability to pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and keep pushing forward. But what needs to change for Mbappé to find that success at Real Madrid? Is it a tactical adjustment? Does he need to switch positions, find a different role within the team?
It's probably a combination of factors. Tactically, perhaps, the manager needs to find a system that better utilizes Mbappé's strengths. A system that gives him more freedom to express himself.
So maybe he needs a little bit more space to operate, to utilize that speed and agility that made him such a force at PSG.
Exactly. He needs to be in positions where he can receive the ball in space, where he can run at defenders and create havoc. But it's not just about tactics, it's also about building chemistry with his teammates, understanding their movements, their preferences.
A dance, isn't it?
That's a great analogy.
Everyone has to be in sync, moving together, anticipating each other's steps.
And of course, there's the mental aspect as well. Mbappé needs to maintain his confidence. His belief in himself, even when things aren't going his way. He needs to trust the process, trust his abilities, and keep working hard to improve.
And maybe, just maybe, Real Madrid needs to exercise a little patience. It's not always about instant gratification. Sometimes the greatest achievements take time to develop.
You're absolutely right. Building a winning team, a dynasty, even takes time, careful planning, and a willingness to adapt and evolve. It's not always a smooth upward trajectory. There will be bumps along the way, setbacks, challenges to overcome.
So how does this all relate to our listener, to someone who might not be a die-hard football fan?
It's about more than just goals and trophies. It's about the human element behind the sport. It's about the pressures of performing at the highest level, the challenges of adapting to new environments, the importance of resiliency.
It's about the pursuit of excellence, the drive to succeed, even when the odds are stacked against you. And those are themes that resonate with everyone, regardless of their background or their interests.
Precisely. We can all relate to the feeling of having high expectations placed upon us, of wanting to succeed in our chosen fields. We can all relate to the challenges of adapting to change, of overcoming setbacks, of striving for greatness.
So to wrap things up, where do we go from here? What does the future hold for Kylian Mbappé?
It's a fascinating story that's still unfolding. It will be interesting to see how he responds to this period of adversity, how he adapts and evolves as a player. It wouldn't be surprising to see him come back stronger than ever.
Before we wrap up, I have one final thought for our listeners to ponder. This whole saga really highlights the immense pressure that superstar athletes face. The expectations, the scrutiny, the constant media attention. It's more than just playing the game, isn't it?
At the whole other level of intensity, that really is. These athletes are operating under a microscope with every move analyzed and dissected.
Right.
And when you add in the financial stakes, the fan expectations, the pressure to win at all costs, It creates an environment that can be incredibly challenging to navigate.
Yeah, it's easy to forget that they're human beings with their own vulnerabilities and insecurities, right? They're not just robots programmed to perform.
Exactly.
And that human element is what makes their stories so compelling.
Right.
You know, we see their triumphs, but we also see their struggles, their moments of doubt, their setbacks, and those moments of vulnerability allow us to connect with them on a deeper level.
We see their resilience, their determination to overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. And that could be inspiring even for those of us who aren't professional athletes.
IT reminds us that success is rarely a straight line. There will be bumps along the way, detours, unexpected challenges. It's how we respond to those challenges that defines us.
So what does the future hold for Mbappé? Can he overcome these hurdles and reach the heights that everyone expected of him?
Only time will tell. But one thing's for sure, he has the talent, the drive, and the support system to turn things around. It's just a matter of finding that right formula, that perfect blend of tactics, teamwork, and mental fortitude.
Maybe this period of adversity will ultimately prove to be a valuable learning experience, a catalyst for growth and even greater success.
It's certainly possible. Sometimes you need to take a step back in order to take 2 steps forward.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Kylian Mbappe's journey in Madrid. It's a story that's still being written, a story full of intrigue, challenges, and the potential for greatness.
It's a story that reminds us that even the most talented individuals face setbacks, and it's their resilience and determination that ultimately define their legacies.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and engaging. Remember, you can continue the conversation on our social media channels. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Mbappe's future and what you took away from this discussion.
To our viewers, kindly drop your thoughts in the comment section below about Kylian Mbappé at Real Madrid. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the topics that fascinate you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the bell notification on this channel so you can be alerted once we drop more deep dives on this channel.